what's going on, everybody? Chris Meaney here of Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets, presented by Prize Picks, right here on the Mayo Media Network. Thanks, as always, for taking the time to hang out. Just the two games on the ice here this evening, the Montreal Canadiens and the Winnipeg Jets. Game 1 of round 2 between those two Canadian teams in the North Division, and Game 2 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Avs just mopped up Vegas 7-1 in Game 1. I think we'll see a tighter matchup, and I'm sure we're going to see Marc-Andre Fleury in that game. If you're just new to the show, welcome. Thanks, as I said, for taking the time to hang out. Smash that like button if you have a chance. It'll really do us a solid. If you have a comment, a question, please leave it there in the YouTube section, and I'll circle back before puck drop. You can always hit me up at Chris Meaney if you have any betting questions or any hockey questions, anything. I'll be around to answer those as well. If you're just new, we usually do Prize Picks off the top of the show. This show is brought to you by Prize Picks, and over at prizepicks.com, you can mix and match across all the sports that you love. And if you are subscribed to the Mayo Media Network, you know that the guys like Gary and Thorne and David Jones are pumping out MLB Prize Picks winners on the rag. Mayo's pumping out content every single day, so if you are subscribed to the Mayo Media Network, you're going to get this as soon as those videos are published. So for today, it's easy to look at Nathan McKinnon at 6 and Mikko Rantanen. These guys are studs. They're awesome, but I really do think we'll see a much tighter game in that Colorado and Vegas contest, and it's just too high. So there's two players here that I'm looking at in Montreal and Winnipeg, and I also think that this series will be low scoring, and especially tonight could be low scoring as well. I will give the edge to Winnipeg here. They've been off since, I think, May 19th. The Habs just played a 7-game series here. They could be a little slow to the gate, but there's two guys in this game that stand out to me. They're goal scorers. Kyle Connor at 3.6 and Tyler Toffoli at 3.4. They just need a goal, and we're there, especially for Toffoli. You get 3.5 for a goal, 3 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist, half a point for a shot, half a point for a block. And for Connor at 3.6, I'm sure we're going to get there if he finds the back of the net. There was a stretch towards the end of the season when Connor was really quiet. Other than that, he's had a phenomenal season. We've talked about him a lot on this show. We've taken his shot props consistently. We've taken the over on his Prize Picks total as well, and I'm doing so here this evening. He went quiet and the Jets went quiet. They were the worst team in the NHL after the trade deadline. Nobody had fewer points in them, and that was just looking. Nikolai Ehlers was out of the lineup. Pierre-Luc Dubois was in and out of the lineup, and Kyle Connor was not scoring goals. 6 goals and 10 points in his final 7 games of the regular season. And versus Edmonton, he had 2 goals and 4 points and 16 shots in that 4-game series, at least 3 shots in 6 of his past 7 games overall. So coming in hot, really feeling himself right now, just like the Kyle Connor early on in the season. And against the Habs, he was solid as well. 6 goals and 10 points in 9 games, 26 shots, at least 3 shots in 5 of 9. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, 5 of 9, 3 shots, but 2 is something that we can bank on. That's 1 point, finds the back of the net, gets an assist. I think we get to that total. As for Tyler Toffoli, goals in back-to-back games here in the playoffs, Game 6 and Game 7 against the Leafs, 5 points in 7 games in that series. Against Winnipeg, also very good. 6 goals and 9 points in 9 games, 27 shots on goal. So these were the guys in the series against Montreal and Winnipeg. Those were the guys that were scoring goals. At least 3 shots in 5 of 9, just like Connor as well. Points in 14 of his past 19 games overall, 17 points over that span, 9 goals. So Tyler Toffoli's basically been a point-per-game guy over the last 30, 35 days or so. So I'm taking the over on both of those guys. Another guy that I was looking at was Jeff Petrie, 2.9. He had 13 blocks, 17 shots, just the 1 assist in that series against the Leafs. I think this will be a series where he can open up a little bit more and take things offensively, log a lot of minutes, getting some power play time. So 2.9 is a nice number there because I think he blocks 2 shots. He probably ends up with 2 shots. So that's just 2 points right there. And if he can find an assist or score a goal, we're certainly going to get there. So check out prizepicks.com. I will circle back. I'll look at some shot props, maybe some save props as they populate over at prizepicks.com to help you out there as well. So good luck. Check out the link inside the description of this video for the 100% first deposit match of up to $100. So let's get after the games tonight. Let's start with Montreal and Winnipeg. The Habs plus 124 on the road here in Winnipeg. The Jets home favorites minus 135, the total at 5.5. So the Jets won the season series 6-3. They had scored Montreal 31-29, but if you look at it from the Habs standpoint, they were 3-3-3 against the Jets. Had the 3 wins, 3 regulation losses, and the 3 overtime losses. You remember how bad the Canadiens were in overtime? They didn't even get to shootouts this year. They were just scored against pretty easily. And I remember that stretch against the Jets is kind of where I lost my mind. The 2-1 overtime loss to Winnipeg and the 4-3 overtime loss to Winnipeg when they started overtimes with Paul Byron and Yoel Armia and Philip Deneau. And I just completely lost it. And then I think roughly the coaching change happened then, or it just happened before that. It was right around that time. And there was still an issue in overtime. But clearly, 5-on-5 overtime has fit Montreal's. It's been a lot better for them. We'll say that, right? And they won Game 5 and Game 6 against the Leafs in overtime. So this series really is going to come down to goaltending. Price was 2-2 against the Jets this season. He was in net for the 7-1 win, the 4-2 win, and he lost 6-3 and 4-3 in overtime. The Jets, like I said, I believe I said it off the top of the show here, May 19th, they've been off. They haven't played since then. I don't think this will have the same sort of feel like Colorado and Vegas. Vegas had played that hard-fought 7-game series against Minnesota. They were up 3-1, Wild 4-7, and then all of a sudden a quick turnaround in 2 days. They got to play Colorado, who was sitting there waiting after sweeping St. Louis, and they crushed them. Same sort of deal here with the Jets. I mean, they swept the Oilers. The Habs were down 3-1. They win Game 5, 6, and 7, 2 of them in overtime. Hard-fought Game 7. Now, all of a sudden, quick turnaround. Got to go to Winnipeg and play here against the Jets. They're just waiting for them. And I believe Winnipeg will have some fans in the building here tonight. I think that's an advantage, Winnipeg. I do. I think this is going to be a very tight series. The tightest one, I think, to call out of the 4 here going. And Carolina down 2. Yikes. It's just goaltending, right? Connor Hellebuyck, so good. A .955 save percentage at 5-5, number 1. 3.35, goals saved above expected. It's number 3. He's got the 1.60 goals against average and the .950 save percentage here in the playoffs. He was the reason that they beat the Oilers. Let's be honest. I thought Mike Smith was fine at the other end. He just couldn't match Connor Hellebuyck, and the Oilers couldn't score. The Jets in the playoffs, their expected goals against at 5-5, the third highest mark. 32.5 scoring chances against per 60 at 5-5 in the playoffs, the second highest mark, and they give up the most high danger chances at 5-5 in the playoffs. This is really what happened all year long in the regular season when it came to the Winnipeg Jets. They were in top 5 and giving up high danger chances, scoring chances, shot attempts. Connor Hellebuyck really, he just did it all for them. Now they have better forwards than the Canadians. Canadians have better defensemen. It's going to be a very tight series. I still think I believe Montreal will own the 5-on-5 play against Winnipeg. I think special teams will be a difference. The Jets' power play, a little bit more lethal than the Leafs' power play over the past, couple of months. Toronto's power play it was non-existent. The Jets, they can score on the power play. They can score. Whether they go Pionk and Morrissey on the point, to have Kyle Connor and that bottom of that circle, that trigger man there, and Blake Wheeler on the bottom, and then Scheifele, they can really move that puck around. I give them the edge on the power play. The goaltending is kind of a wash. I would say Price has the edge considering how good he has played. I mean, his last 17 playoff games dating back to the bubble, he's got a .934 save percentage, saving 12 goals above expected. Here in the playoffs, a .938 save percentage at 5-5, 1.60 goals saved above expected. It's only the 7th best mark, but it's still pretty solid. He's got a better high danger save percentage than Connor Hellebuyck. He's got the 2.24 goals against average and the .932 save percentage. I think this is going to be a tight series. Like I said, I think it's going to be low scoring. I think the Habs are a little bit better at 5-5. Got to give them a lot of credit, especially Philip Deneau and Jake Evans coming into the lineup for Thomas Tatar, playing with Brandon Gallagher. They did a really good job against Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. They only had 1 goal combined. That was it. The chances were there for Austin Matthews and sometimes for Mitch Marner. But they did a very good job against them. They'll have the task of trying to shut down Scheifele and Wheeler and Connor. I think where the difference is offensively is that second line with Nikolai Ehlers and Pierre-Luc Dubois and Paul Stastny. I think that is going to potentially be the difference in the series. But the defense for Montreal is certainly better. Those big 4. I mean, Sherratt, if you look at the numbers, from an analytical standpoint, not great. But he ate a lot of minutes. He was tough in front of the net. But really, it was Weber and Edmondson had a good series, and Jeff Petrie. So I think the difference really is the defense for Montreal, advantage. The forward group for Winnipeg, slight advantage. and then the goaltending slight advantage for Carey Price. But this is going to be a tight series. It's going to be low scoring, and that's kind of my feel here tonight. I'm going to take Winnipeg here and the under 5.5. I see like a 2-1, 3-2 type game. I don't think we'll see a lot of goal scoring, and we did in the regular season between these two teams. 6-3 over, 4-3 over, 7-1 over, 4-2 right around that number, 4-3, 4-2, 5-0, 5-3. A lot of goals. But as you know, and Leafs fans know, things get a lot tighter in the playoffs. There's not the space, and we can have that conversation on Friday with Cam Stewart and Matty Best when we talk about the Leafs. I don't really have much to say about them. Playoffs is different. And it's proven now with them. The space that you have in the regular season on a random Tuesday evening, when a team's on a back-to-back or seeing a backup goalie, players mail it in. They do. But every single shift, you have to fight for that open ice, and it just wasn't there for those Toronto players. And you got to give credit to the Habs. They do a great job of limiting the high-danger chances, something that Winnipeg doesn't do great. So for now, Jets advantage and the under. I think the series goes 7, and I have a lean with Montreal, but I think it goes 7. You can get that at plus money. All right, nothing else to add in that game. I think the shot props, Kyle Connor 2.5, Tyler Toffoli 2.5. That's really it for me. I don't see anything else. If you can find Suzuki at 1.5, he's probably going to be juiced. He could be plus money at 2.5, but I think I'll lean with Toffoli as the only guy there. And for Kyle Connor, let's see how this series plays out. I believe if you're looking for a third, it would be Nikolai Ehlers at 2.5. Those are the 3 players right there. We'll move on. Next game, Vegas and Colorado. Vegas here plus 172, Colorado minus 182, the total at 5.5. It was an absolute beatdown, 7-1. Robin Lehner. I think that they played Lehner just to throw him to the Wolves. Like, okay, like I said off the top, you just played a hard-fought 7-game series. You got to go to Colorado. They've been waiting for you. They're going to come out very, very hot. Let's just put Robin Lehner in there. Because I look at Marc-Andre Fleury. I got it down here. Against Colorado, he was 4-3 against the Avs. He had 2 shutouts, 2 or fewer goals in 4 games, 3 or fewer in 6 of the 7. In fact, 7 of the games against Colorado, 5 of them went under the number. He was good. He was awesome. He was better than good. He had 2 shutouts against the Avs. We're talking about the Avs being so dominant, and they are, and they're scoring goals left, right, and center. Nobody can stop them, but Marc-Andre Fleury had 2 shutouts against them. Was he tired? Sure. Did he ask for the day off? Doubt it. Is Pete DeBoer getting a little bit too cute? Potentially. Maybe he was saving Marc-Andre Fleury. That's where I want to go with it. That's what I want to say, because I don't think he can be that big of a bonehead to just say, okay, here's Robin Lehner. Because Fleury was so good against the Wild to start the season that he tapered off a little bit. But come on. Like, what is the obsession with Robin Lehner? It actually bothers me a little bit. They go and acquire this guy a couple years ago, and they play him in the postseason. I think that they may have gone further with Fleury. Don't you remember when he brought you to the Cup against the Caps? How good he was? Don't you know that he's a Stanley Cup winner? Come on. He has to be your goalie. If Lehner is the goalie for the future, that's fine. Fleury's a little bit older. I get that. You want to bring him in. You want to pay him. You want to give both goalies combined $14 million, whatever it is. Be my guest. Whatever. But Fleury has to be your guy. I'd be shocked if he doesn't start here tonight. I would be shocked. From a 5-on-5 standpoint, the game was pretty even. It really was. Vegas had 2 more shot attempts. Colorado had 6 more shots on goal, 4 more scoring chances. The high danger chances were even. The goals were 5-1. 9 more power play minutes for Colorado. The shot attempts 15-2, 11-2 scoring chances, 4-1 high danger, 2 more goals. So, I mean, they took advantage of, I believe, a 9-minute power play. Vegas got out of control. Reeves is suspended. It's nonsense. But for McKinnon, 11 shot attempts, 8 shots, 2 goals, 3 points. By the way, he should have got suspended. That was a brutal play. Rantanen, 7 shot attempts, 4 shots, 1 goal, 3 points, or 2 points rather. Makar, 7 shot attempts, 4 shots, 1 goal, 4 points. Landeskog, 2 goals, 3 points, and 2 shot attempts, 2 shots, 3 attempts. It's a lot to rattle off there. I think I butchered a little bit of it. The point is, McKinnon and Rantanen are always going to get their shot attempts. They really are. Like, those are the guys. If you see McKinnon at 4, I think you got to take it. I think you do. If you see Rantanen at 3.5, I think you got to take it. Those are the guys. We got Makar plus money over FTM bets. I would take plus money 2.5 shots as well. Just allows a lot of ice time, puts a lot of pucks towards the net. Maybe plus money for an assist. We've been doing the Landeskog assist plus money. That's been working out over the past 3 to 4 weeks. I think both of those guys are getting an assist plus money. Like, you're not going to get Rantanen or McKinnon plus money and an assist. It's going to be just juiced. I do think this will be a tighter game, low-scoring game. How about McKinnon? Let's just talk about him for a second. 14 goals in his last 13 playoff games. 8 goals, 12 points in 5 playoff games of the season. 28 goals and 66 points in 45 playoff games. That's Gretzky and Lemieux. There's nobody else who's done that. There's nobody else who's racked up 66 points in 45 playoff games to start his NHL career. Nobody. Gretzky and Lemieux. That's it. It's crazy what McKinnon's doing. He's a freak. He really is. He is so good. He's going to be an issue for Vegas. He's going to be an issue. As for the Golden Knights, Tuch led the way, 7 shot attempts, 4 shots. Stone, 5 attempts, 4 shots. Theodore, 5 attempts, 3 shots. Theodore's been our guy throughout the postseason here. Pietrangelo, 6 shot attempts, 2 shots. William Karlsson, the lone goal. I thought that line played pretty good. I thought it was Vegas' best line. William Karlsson, Jonathan Marchessault, and Riley Smith. They led the way with 6 shots, had a goal. So for Theodore, 61 attempts here in the playoffs. That's tied for the third most, 28 shots, over 2.5. I like it. That's the guy that I like. McKinnon, 37 shot attempts, 24 shots, 6-4, 3-3, and 8. He would be the guy I would go to first, and then I would go to Theodore after, but Rantanen I think is in play as well. 6-2, 4-3, and 4. The shots would take the over 3.5, but Makar, I believe, is absolutely in play. He's got the 5 assists here in the playoffs. That's why I like the plus money. 3, 2, 2, 3, and 4. So you may have to sweat that 2.5 out, but I do like it. I'm going to go with Vegas here tonight. I am going to go with Vegas here. I just thought about the puck line. Maybe it's the safer play. It's kind of a coward play. I did talk about the puck line Game 7 of Montreal and Toronto, but I didn't put that into FTN bets. I just thought the Leafs would take care of business. I just really did. And I was wrong. You can get Vegas on the puck line minus 160, I'm seeing. That's okay. If you go Vegas puck line and then Winnipeg, I'm looking off to the side here, free prop shop and FTN bets calculator up to ftnbets.com. You got so Winnipeg to win the game and Vegas puck line. That's not bad. Chuck a unit on that. That's plus 238. That's okay. If you want to, you can include maybe the under there in the Winnipeg game, and then that gets you up to plus 382. So Winnipeg in the under, and then Vegas on the puck line. I see like a 3-2 game here. It's really hard to go against Colorado, and Vegas is very good at home. I think that's where maybe they do most of their damage here. So I'll lean Vegas puck line. I probably will have a parlay, though, to be honest with you guys, with just Vegas and that plus 172. I like that quite a bit. I think we're going to see a bounce-back game from them. They're going to be very focused and determined to not go down 2-0. They're a good hockey team, let's be honest. I think Colorado wins this series. I had them to win the series in 7. I had the Canes or the Tampa Bay Lightning to win in 7. Don't know if it's going to get 7. I'm going to go with the Habs here in 7, and the other game was Boston in 7 for me. So all 7s. I put 3 of the 4 series in 7 over at FTN Bets at 32-1. I don't think it's going to happen, but put a half a unit on that. So Vegas puck line, I think the under is the play. I know it's very scary with these two teams that they could score in bunches, but Vegas puck line and Jets and under. From a shot prop standpoint, just to regroup here, McKinnon, I think, will probably be at 4. I would take the over on that. I'm fine with it. Theodore, 2.5. If you can see him, 3 is fine. You get the push if you get to 3. Makar over 2.5. I like Makar to get an assist. That'll do it. From a DraftKings standpoint, just on the way out, I think, I think Hellebuck is the play for me in net. I believe it would be Hellebuck. And then I think if you want to get ultra contrarian, maybe you can go with Fleury there. I think Grubauer is an okay play as well because I think Vegas is going to come out. They're going to put a lot of pucks on net. So that's kind of my lean. I mean, all of these 4 goalies are all phenomenal. I think you can make a case for any of them to be your guys here tonight. At the center position, it's really hard not to play Nathan MacKinnon. I mean, Nathan MacKinnon and such a drop-off after that. I believe I would go MacKinnon and... Scheifele, McKinnon and Scheifele. I think William Karlsson at 4.8 is intriguing. That's it, man. I think for defense, you want to spend up. I mean, there's only going to be 4D in my player pool here tonight. It's going to be Makar, Theodore, Petrie, and Morrissey or Pionk. Those are the 5 I'm interested in. I'm not going to go any lower than that. That's it. That's what I'm rolling with. I'm not going to spend up for Pietrangelo when I can just save myself $400 with Shea Theodore. Everyone's going to roll with Colorado, guys. Just know that. The Avs are going to be super popular. If you want to be contrarian, go with Fleury. Take the top line in Vegas, the Stone Pacioretty line. Winnipeg, I believe, is in play with the Snipers and Ehlers and Connor. I think there's some salary saving if you want to drop down to Pierre-Luc Dubois. Pierre-Luc Dubois will save you a little bit of cash. You want to roll him out. He's just 3.7. But I do think I think both games will be low scoring here with offense driven from the point. Right? The defenders are on quite a bit in Theodore Pietrangelo, Makar, Petrie. I think Pionk's going to get quite a bit of ice time as well, and Josh Morrissey. So those are the guys that I think will get quite a bit of ice time. It's hard to fade McKinnon. I get it. If you're putting one lineup in, maybe you want to fade him because you got to think about everybody else is going to be putting one lineup in or multiple lineups in, and all the McKinnon that's going to be out there. So if you're in maybe a single entry, lock in McKinnon and move on and get different elsewhere. But if you're playing multiple entries or you're in contests where people are playing hundreds of lineups, you got to get a little bit unique. And getting a little bit unique, that would mean rolling with Vegas or rolling with the Canadians. And if you're going to roll with the Canadians, it would be that Suzuki, Toffoli, and Caulfield line. All right, that's it. You have any questions, hit me up. I think the lowest scoring game will be Montreal and Winnipeg. So if you do want a game stack, maybe it's that Vegas and Colorado. But I like the under in both games, Vegas and the puck line, and the under and Winnipeg and the under as well. I rambled long enough. Good luck. Any questions, hit me up at Chris Meaney. I'll leave the comment there in the YouTube section as well. I'll circle back before a puck drop. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. Good luck tonight. We'll talk to you on Friday. Cheers.